after Heraclitus, our most important process thinker is Baruch Spinoza, who lived between 1632 and 1637. Spinoza was born into the Jewish community in Amsterdam. He was one of the greatest thinkers in Western history. He declined a professorship at the University of Heidelberg because he thought being a professor might actually interfere with his intellectual freedom. Instead, he ground lenses for a living, and he wrote like a madman. And people did think he was mad. In fact, he was careful not to actually publish anything under his real name for fear of reprisals because his ideas at the time were so outrageous. Spinoza was the enemy of dualism. Popular religion saw God and nature as different things. God intercedes in nature to perform miracles, and when nature is doing its thing correctly, God isn't typically brought to mind. But Spinoza did not recognize a difference between God and nature, and he often used those terms interchangeably. For Spinoza, there is only one thing in the universe, and that thing is God. And Spinoza thought that all other things were simply parts of God. He said, God, the fixed and unchangeable order of nature, or the chain of natural events, natural laws, and the eternal decrees of God are the same thing. Now, unlike the dualism of Descartes, Spinoza argued that there's no difference between mind and body. Mind, he said, is just an extension of the body. It's part of its working. It's not a separate substance. Remember, in Spinoza's thought, there's only one thing. Seen outwardly, we see the body. Seen inwardly, we behold the mind. But it's all just one thing. Spinoza said God is immanent, not extraneous. All is in God. Now, he used several vocabulary terms that are kind of important to understand to get a handle on Spinoza's thought. He called substance that one thing that is the underlying reality of all that is. He said, that which is, I am that I am, of which all seeming things are merely modes. So there's another term, mode. What does Spinoza mean by mode? He means by this the transitory form that substance takes. All things or events are modes of the one thing. The fact that I appear to be a separate being, I am not a separate being. There is only one thing in the universe, so I am a part of that thing that appears temporarily in the mode of John. You are the same, and in fact everything in the universe is the same. It's all one thing, but it seems to be a separate thing because it is in the mode of that thing. Things that are beheld to have to be in mode also have attributes. So these are qualities that are drawn forth from substance that give modes their distinction. They are, again, aspects of the one thing, such as mind or body. So Spinoza talks about the difference between essence and appearance. In essence, we are all the one thing that is the universe, that is God. But we have different appearances as we appear in different modes, as we appear to be separate beings. Spinoza's God is not like we normally think of God. Spinoza's God is not a conscious deity, is not a personal deity, not at all. Spinoza's God is an unfolding process of which we are necessarily a part. Spinoza said that a triangle would of necessity picture God as triangular. And so human beings naturally picture God as human or having human traits such as consciousness and personality. So Spinoza actually denied an anthropomorphic deity. Deity, he said, is incomprehensible. It's not possible for us to understand or comprehend the divine. Now, Spinoza was part of the Jewish community in Amsterdam, as I said, and these were ideas that were seemed pretty heretical in the Jewish community at the time in the 17th century, and indeed they were. He was excommunicated from the synagogue in 1656. What's ironic, and, well, seems like a little bit of poetic justice, is that the people who excommunicated Spinoza are only remembered for having excommunicated him.